What's going on, everybody, and welcome on in to episode 265 of the Garage Podcast, brought to you proudly here on the OBR streaming network. The Orange and Brown Report is your home for all the best Browns coverage in all of Cleveland. Plus, you get to hang out with us on Tuesday nights and talk about everything else that you love. Make sure you get over to theobr.com, hit subscribe, take part in the best Browns community on the internet. And whether you're watching us on YouTube or Twitch or wherever you're watching, make sure you hit subscribe, hit like, hit follow, as we've got all good things going on at the OBR. Also, go follow the show at The Garage Beers on all the socials to keep up with all the stuff we're doing midweek, leading up to our weekly episodes like this one here on episode 265. And I've got good news already in the comments. Chris Gillespie says, I hope this is live. Oh, it's live, Chris. And so he says he has a crazy question. Chris, you type that into the comments. We may even lead things off with your crazy question. So make sure you're tuned in there. I'm your host, Michael Keefe. Find me online at Garage Beers Mike. And joining me tonight, my two co-hosts, both outside, both at the same time. You wouldn't know it by the backgrounds, though. First of all, over on the east side of Cleveland, find him online at Garage Beers Chad. It's Chad Meyer. What's up, Chad?
Doesn't my background look like, that scene from The Wizard of Oz where you could see the guy that hung himself? Right. You see, you ever hear that?
Yeah, where it's rumored that
where happened. It's rumored like the guy up in a tree right here just hung himself.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I feel like my background looks like. Anywho, I'm going to start my little intro here, Mike, with my asshole of the week, just because it's at the top of my mind, and I don't want to forget it.
How often does that happen? By the way, can we pull the curtain back? There are so many times where if I don't write down my asshole of the week or my cheer of the week, then we get to it and I'm like, shit.
That's 1,000% why I'm doing it now. I think we can stop with the top 20 suburbs to live of Cleveland to live in lists. I came across that list again, and it's just everybody knows. Everybody knows the best suburbs to live in Cleveland, right? Nobody's looking at that list being like, oh, I wonder if Parma's cracked the top 20 this year. No, it's not going to happen. Okay, it's not going to happen. Whoa, Pepper Pike beat out Solon this year? Crazy.
It's also so subjective to what you're looking for, right? Listen, man, I grew up in Rocky River, so I don't have room to talk about. I grew up in the whitest of the places.
Oh, hey,
Rocky River, Ohio.
Listen. If you live in one of those suburbs, good for you. I'm just saying, everybody knows where the best suburbs are in Cleveland. Everybody knows.
Listen, man, where I grew up, diversity was there's a black kid in the high school.
It's weird.
What diversity was in Rocky River.
He's sitting on the bench in gym class, and the old guys are like,
yeah, right. Well, you're on the basketball team.
Yeah, they are real.
It's very subjective. You can tell who makes these lists, right? You can you can see who makes these lists. Pepper Pike and Rocky River and Chagrin Falls, and you're like, oh, okay. In the meantime, though, I'm sure there's people that live in LaGrange that just like to be kind of away from everybody else,
right?
Or I'm sure there's people that live in Cleveland Heights and Lakewood and University and or Euclid that like to have maybe a little diversity in their lives. The lists are so stupid.
Oh, Brecksville's in the top 10 again? Shocking. Super shocking.
Look at Joe. Joe says, I live in Solon, guys. We don't care about the polls. Okay, Joe, that sounds like somebody that cares about the polls.
Yeah, exactly.
Sounds like Solon didn't win.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're ranked number 3. We don't even care. We don't even care.
It's no big deal. Well, our schools are perennially number 1. I don't give a shit.
Wait till you see what we do next year.
Yeah, fuck you, Aurora.
Oh my God. I love it because I think of those same things, Chad. I just think why are we doing this? Why do we have to rank this shit? Just live where you live and be happy. It's cool.
Right.
All right. So Chad's coming out hot with the Cleveland suburb rankings. Outside on what looks to be a gorgeous day out in the Pacific Northwest, in his still new home of Seattle is Joey Whalen at Garage Beers. Joe, that looks like the spot to be to do a podcast right there. Actually, I feel like I've eaten right where you're at right now.
You've been right here. I got some mountains. Well, you can't see the mountains, but got some nice trees, enjoying a little weather, trying to like avoid the sun because it is burning my eyeballs every time it comes over here. But boys, we're enjoying a beautiful day outside. Can't complain.
Nice.
We're just Chad and I. This whole episode are just going to be waiting for that one black bear to come.
That one black bear,
right over that railing.
I mean, there's a nice pine tree right there. You can crawl up. He could come from above too, I guess.
Yeah, they can
there's
come
some
from
options
anywhere, all over the place. They're very agile.
Yeah. So be on the lookout. This could be an interesting Man vs. Wild here show, boys.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing if it just came and
sure
just sat
would.
down.
One black bear versus 100 Joes. Who wins?
Ooh, the black bear for sure. I don't stand a chance.
Yeah. All 100 would have to yell back. If like 50 Joes yelled back, that black bear's like, nah, I'm eating every single one of you.
I'm eating all these dudes.
Yeah.
Getting eaten.
Give me a couple beers though, and I'll at least enjoy it.
With confidence, yeah. At least you won't feel it.
Yeah.
Hold on. Every once in a while, Overlord Ward just pops into the background, and I don't know why. So here he is, Overlord Ward popping into the show. Brad, ladies and gentlemen,
Gatekeeper Brad.
Making a
Listen,
cameo.
I got a very threatening message from Mike about being late again, and I wanted to apologize to all of you at the same time. I am so sorry. I don't need a lecture tomorrow. He's like, it was very father-like. Let me read this to you. We're gonna have to have a serious talk tomorrow. This continues to happen and be a problem. Listen, I'm sorry for going over.
Get down here, Buster.
I'm sorry for going over. You know, it won't happen again. It won't happen again until next week. Just kidding.
I know.
Until next week. Till next Tuesday.
I really am sorry, Mike, and I'm sorry. I lose track of time, and I'm sorry. I've got to be better about that, and I apologize to your fans, and I apologize to all three of you. I'm very sorry.
Jot is just sitting there in Solon, Brad, pissed off.
I swear to God, if I come into your bedroom one more time and you and your girlfriend have your hands under the blankets.
Whoa. Whoa.
Livid.
Wow. Yeah, just watching a movie.
Yeah.
We know what's going on.
Door stays open, mister.
We know what's going on. Since you're here, we'll give you a cheer of the week. Happy anniversary, Brad.
Happy anniversary.
Oh, thanks.
You and the lovely bride celebrating an anniversary. So happy
14
anniversary.
years.
And we'll let her know she needs to give you like a big smooch tonight because you're getting a good solid talking to tomorrow, mister.
Yeah.
I know it's coming, but I just wanted to get out in front of it and just say I'm sorry to everybody. All right. You guys have a lovely night and a great show.
Though.
Enjoy your garage beers.
See you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Oh, don't end the stream.
No, God, please
don't do that.
Please don't.
Almost did it. See you later.
Currently booting from StreamYard. See you, Brad. Oh, God, I love it. All right. So listen, we're all here. We had a visit from Overlord Ward. Joey's keeping his eye out for nature over there. Some kind of big like albatross or something is going to come swooping down and just carry him away. But we've got a great show. We got a lot of stuff that we want to get into. I feel like we kind of blinked, and the Guardians, we're like a third of the way into the Guardian season.
Yeah.
So we're going to do like a kind of quarterly, third of the way through progress report on the Cleveland Guardians because there's so much interesting to talk about with them. And we're now starting to get into that time of the season where we start looking ahead going, okay, like it's fair to say that they're going to be in this position of potential contending. So how do they move forward this season? So we'll get into that. We will get into these playoffs. We've got New York and Indiana going at it in the NBA. We've got Dallas and Edmonton. Edmonton up 1-0 right now, looking to take a 3-1 lead in this series. Look out, Canada. Look out, Canada.
Yeah.
We'll talk about the playoffs. There's been some rule changes in various sports. So right towards the end of the show, we're going to kind of talk about that a little bit, or maybe some changes that didn't happen. But we'll also talk about rule changes that we want to see in all of our favorite sports. And we'll get into so much more. But before we get into all of that, we got to do our garage beers of the week. where we tell you what we're drinking while we're talking about all this nonsense, listening to Brad Ward get nervous about what's going on. So, Joe, what's going on out there in Seattle? What are you drinking tonight, buddy?
Oh, boys, I'm finding a lot of good beer out here. Let me tell you. There's some areas, Ballard, Fremont, that just have many, many breweries. It's like going to wine country, but it's beer. Today we got from Fremont Brewing Company, we got a Hustle Double IPA and a Tall Boy. This is 9%er here. And it doesn't really say much. It's a double IPA. It says the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately.
Ooh.
5.
In Cleveland, nothing is
Look
given.
at that. Just
Everything
a
is earned.
beautiful PNW West
This is
Coast
for
IPA.
you.
Also kind of an interesting glass. I got this is also from there. It's the Washington Brewers Guild, and it looks like they just kind of tripped some acid and made some drawings on here. So that's kind of fun. But the beer's delicious. It's a great double IPA, just total piney West Coast. Quite enjoying it.
All right. The opposite of what Chad likes. Even though Chad's gotten into IPAs a little bit. The piney West
no,
Coast.
I will never ever get into West Coast IPAs ever.
Oh, I'll get you into them.
Nope.
Chad, what are you drinking tonight? Speaking of Chad, what's on the docket tonight?
Well, this is a double aged, barrel soaked, triple hoppy. But no, it's just a glass of Woodford. I'm going hard stuff tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Got a little bit of an itchy throat going on, a little scratchy throat, so I got to clear the sinuses a little bit, boys. Woodford Reserve.
This, you know what we're seeing right now out of Chad is just called growth. It's called growth. There's been over the 5+ years that we have done this show, there have been a couple times where Chad has come on with a scratchy throat and he's brought on like a water. And we've had to be like, why don't you go get like a tea and put some bourbon in it and see what happens?
Yeah.
And he does. And so here's the growth. We didn't have to tell him this time. He just went and did it.
Chad,
Off the Woodford.
have you ever had bull deck ramen before?
What? No. That sounds
bull deck.
Bull Dick Ramen?
BULDAK.
That sounds like something I get at a sex shop in like Thailand.
I've had him
Yeah,
twice.
maybe.
I've had two
Oh,
of them.
nice. That's hot.
Wow. It'll clear you. It'll do everything for you. It gets the throat in line. It clears all this out, all the sinuses. Super
What is
spicy though.
What is it?
I'll send you pictures.
Okay. All right.
BULDAK.
All
What's
right.
the catch, Joe?
You'll cry. It makes me cry. Like it's so
It's made of humans.
fucking hot. But it's
Real
great.
bits of bull dick.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Chad's going with a good solid Woodford, getting himself all unscratched and feeling better. Boys, again, my familiar settings in the spring. I'm currently looking out the window at the National Basketball Hall of Fame here in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I
The shittiest of the Hall of Fames.
Yeah, I'm the only one I've never been to is baseball, but I'm going to assume that one's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So, yeah, the Basketball Hall of Fame, if you've never actually seen it, it's in like a strip mall.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a very strange. It's strange. Like, and actually, when you go into like the lobby of it, if you go to the left, it's like a movie theater, and if you go to the right, it's the Hall of Fame. It's weird. It's but I'm here, and it's right there. I can see it right there. So I did not go with my beer of choice, even though I've got 8 of them in the fridge right now, the Treehouse. Instead, right in the lobby of the Marriott Springfield here in downtown Springfield is a brewery called White Lion, and I got up here today. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go down there, grab a bite to eat, have some pork belly and some Brussels sprouts, and grab a couple beers. And their beers were good. So I grabbed, it felt like a stout night to me tonight. I wanted a stout. So here's the can. This is the White Lion. It's a cool can.
Oh yeah.
I know it's shiny, but
Nice.
Very, very prestigious.
But this is just the, it's called Without Exception. It is a chocolate vanilla stout. So it looks like a stout you've ever seen.
Okay.
And it's on a scale of stouts, I would give it a 6 out of 10. It's a solid, like maybe a little above average. But there's part of me that when you're going to tell me it's like a chocolate vanilla stout, I don't really want it to be the most bitter thing. Like that to me sounds like it should be kind of thick, desserty type stout, which is what I was kind of looking for. And this has like all the bitterness of the chocolate, but without the sweetness of it. So there's a weird thing going on with it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But it's still pretty good. It's still, I would say, above average. Above average. Oh, Joe's going in. Joe looks like Progressive Field at about 4:38 p.m.
Yeah.
He's getting into the shadows.
Yeah, like
lefty
keep leaning over
hard right now.
I can't hide.
Those are our garage beers of the week. You saw Chef Brian K drinking a PBR. If you're drinking, go ahead and throw your beers into the comments and we'll flash them up here. But boys, let's get into episode 265 of the Garage Beers podcast. And guys, I want to start with I want Chris Gillespie to know this. I put a little star next to your comments. Chris, we're going to get to this because inevitably some of this conversation is going to kind of lead to what his question was. But we're going to start with this, boys, because I want to have a little fun to start the show.
All right.
Because if you guys just sat through 2 hours and then some of the React with Brad and Pete, you just dove in to a ton of like wildly, for this time of year, in-depth Cleveland Brown stuff. But I'm not going to add anything to that. I don't really, to be honest with you, I'm going to be real honest with you. I don't want to talk about the defensive line position room right now in depth. I don't want to do that right now.
No, there's no point.
But what I do want to talk about, and I think a lot of it centers around the Browns, but it's going on with the Guardians right now. It's majorly going on with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. We are in silly headline season. We are in silly headline season, aren't we? Where every day I feel like I wake up and one of these websites has put out somebody sat down and like wrote a damn article about something that is so ridiculous or unwarranted or overhyped or just desperately trying to get clicks. And then these sites just run with it. For example, we'll start with the Browns. Joe, you attached this to our text message today. This is from the Daily Mail, which I don't know why the Daily Mail is even. Is it Jack?
Yeah, Jack.
Is Jack the only one in England that could even
feeding them stories?
Talking? I mean, I know you got Paul Brown over there, England Paul Brown. I don't know who's writing this. The headline is Shedeur Sanders is a surprise cut candidate for the Browns.
Nope.
And then they published it, and then I don't know if you noticed, but the minute it happened, then all of a sudden, all over social media, here goes the conversation and the topic. We don't need to react to all of this. We don't need to react to everything that's going on. Is Shedeur Sanders a cut candidate for the Browns? Probably not, to be real honest with you. I would be. I mean, he's as a 5th round pick. If Shedeur Sanders looks like dog shit in training camp, yeah, you cut him. See ya. Answers your question. But he's a 5th round pick. Like, why are we writing an article? When have you ever seen anybody write an article about a 5th round pick like that?
5th round pick has never been Shedeur Sanders.
We are in silly. It
is silly season. It's not defending it. Still silly season.
Oh, Chad, you're muted. You're probably saying something so great right now, but nobody can hear you.
Yeah, he's bought a Rolls Royce and he's a surprise cut candidate. So that's where we're at.
Oh, the Rolls Royce, yes.
Yeah. Even though he claims he didn't, but who cares if he did? Who gives a shit if he did?
Who gives a shit? I hope he did. That's sick. If you can afford to do that, good for you, dude.
It's like a pea green Rolls Royce something or other. You know, XL 205 SG Niner. Yeah,
it's out of my tax bracket. I never learned the names of them either.
Yeah. Oh, but his signing bonus is only $440. He's fucking Deion Sanders' kid. Okay, he's got the money to be able to afford a custom Rolls Royce if he wants one, but he claims he hasn't, which is good. I mean, if he's called again, that's another reason why Shedeur's growing on me. He called it out and he said he's focused on playing football. So good. He's getting out ahead of stuff. Something you don't see a lot from a lot of these high profile names in football.
Oh,
I might tend to believe him though. Like, why would he lie about not buying it.
Yeah,
So it was
right.
really, like, if you bought it, I feel like you just would have said, like, yeah, I bought a Rolls Royce. Thanks for
Yeah.
noticing.
And who gives a shit?
Who cares?
Also, is he not from just a hugely wealthy family? And like Joe says it here. Did he not make NAL money last year? Like, also,
Yes.
did you guys ever notice this? And I think the main one is over on the east side somewhere, Chad, or maybe it's south. Maybe it's like North Royalton or something like that. But have you ever noticed, like, a lot of pro athletes, they don't buy cars. They rent them. There's I want to say it might be in North Royalton. Did you guys know this? There's like a luxury car rental place down there. Where
I've seen them in other cities.
Yeah, that you can go rent like a Ferrari or a Rolls Royce or like a G-Wagon or whatever. Why? Yeah, these guys are like, I'm not buying them. I'm just driving them during the season while I live here, and then I go somewhere else.
Yeah. Josh Gordon got his camouflage painted Porsche from there.
Yeah.
And like, spoiler alert, like, Shitter's probably not living in Cleveland in the off season. So like, why would he buy a multiple $100,000 car?
Not yet. Not yet.
He might.
Most players don't.
I think like some of the players do and some of them don't. I got Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah that lives around the corner from me. He is not here in the offseason. Unless it's for like a team program. And again, I know that's a sore subject, but like, unless it's like a team program thing, or unless it's time to come back to get ready for the season, he's gone. He lives elsewhere. Joe, you need sunscreen, my dude.
I know. I'm trying to figure out the situation. I'm going to adjust my seating here. 1 second, boys.
But it depends on how entrenched you are in the community, whether guys stay or not.
What was the other? But that doesn't mean anything anyways. They grew up in communities. Maybe they want to live there. Like,
for sure.
What was the other headline? I made a TikTok video about it. And again, it wasn't to call out
Deshaun getting traded.
It wasn't to call out Chef Zay, because Chef Zay made a TikTok about it and it just came across and I was like, well, I'm going to respond to this. All of a sudden, like, people that get paid a lot of money to talk about the Browns, we're talking about, well, could the Browns trade Deshaun Watson? What could they get? The question was, what could they get back in a trade for Deshaun Watson? And I even saw people, maybe this goes back to some of what you guys were all watching on the React before the show, because maybe some of those people were featured on there. We had people talking about, well, like, the Browns could just cut ties with Deshaun Watson. Does anybody understand the goddamn salary cap anymore? Like, what's happening?
No.
Or maybe...
Or people just don't want to take the time.
Is it because we've spent over 4 years now as part of the OBR? Or 3 years? 3 years as part of 3.5 years as part of the OBR? Do I just understand it better because of what I am just watching and listening to every day? Like Chris Gillespie even says here, nobody wants Watson. It doesn't matter. If somebody came to the Browns today, I want to make this very clear. If somebody came to the Browns today and said, we'll give you a first-round pick for Deshaun Watson, they can't do it.
Yeah. Unless that team pays us $100 million.
It wouldn't matter.
Does that not work either?
No.
Oh,
because you can't apply that money to the salary cap. If they traded Deshaun Watson today, it's $165 million dead cap hit. If they trade him after June 1st, that number drops to $130 million or $135.
Trade him after June 1st. Trade him after June 1st.
Like, guys, you can't. You might not like it. You might not like it, but Deshaun Watson is going to be technically a member of the Cleveland Browns this year, and he is going to technically be a member of the Cleveland Browns next year. Unless, and the only way that changes is if somehow the Browns find a loophole to get rid of him. If somehow the Browns can find a loophole in his contract to get rid of him, then okay, maybe they will. Not maybe, they would definitely do that. If a loophole became available, you bet your ass they will go feet first into that thing and hope it doesn't close before they get through. Otherwise, though, guys, ladies and gentlemen who are Browns fans, the Browns cannot get rid of Deshaun Watson. It's part of the deal. Again, how is dead cap created? Every time you've seen them restructure him, they're paying him They're basically saying we're going to convert your salary money to a signing bonus. That's going to free up salary money for us for this year, but we're going to pay you that money up front. So this is money they've already paid to Deshaun Watson. Like, the thing that people I don't think understand very much is that the majority of his contract has already been paid to him.
Yeah.
But what that means is if you get rid of him, that hits your books. And you can't spread it out. You don't have an option to spread it out. When you get rid of him, it hits your books right then. Right then. They can't do it, guys. So just like I saw it come across, and I saw it coming from people that I'm like, you're like a Browns beat reporter, or you're like, you get paid money to do this. And you're talking about, well, the Browns could maybe get like a 5th round pick from somebody. They can't. They can't. And listen, Sean, don't get me wrong. Sean in the comments says they will make him an actor of every game, though, right? Listen, I don't know that I'm comfortable saying
I
that
sure as shit hope so.
But like, yeah, I'm not sitting here saying I think Deshaun Watson's going to be a member of the Browns as far as like a playing member of the team.
He's just going to be on the roster.
But he's not going anywhere. You cannot get rid of him.
Now, granted, they'll probably give him a chance to compete because, like, while you're here, you might as well. Not going anywhere. So you'll probably see him next year, like in training camp and like getting reps.
But again, as we look at the Browns situation, this is what I said last week, guys, about Joe Flacco. And I know people love Joe Flacco. And when you say things negatively about Joe Flacco, it gets people all in a tizzy. And I don't think it's the same way about Deshaun Watson. But like, what are we going to learn from Deshaun Watson at this point? Nothing.
No.
He sucks. He sucks, and he can't stay healthy.
Yeah. He was good until he wasn't. That's his story.
He has done. You know the thing that's really pissed me off? I don't want to make this all about Deshaun Watson, but I was thinking about this the other day. You know the thing that's really pissed me off about him the most? Not only has he sucked on the field, and not only has he not been able to stay healthy, but like the thing that pisses me off more than anything about Deshaun is that this simple PR shit that you see Shadur Sanders doing, Deshaun just never did.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson, of all the people who should be doing things a certain way, Deshaun Watson should never leave Cleveland. He should be at schools. He should be at like battered women's facilities, donating money and volunteering. And he should be at hunger centers, volunteering. And that dude from day one should have walked into this city and gone, thank you for giving me the opportunity that you did.
Yeah.
I will do everything I can for this city. And then hopefully I can do something good for you guys on the field. And instead, from day one, this dude is posting he's posting his like Ferrari pictures in Italy and California and elsewhere in Europe and out on a boat and on vacation. And listen, I don't have a problem with guys doing that in general, but he's not the in general guy. That guy should have been here from day one, digging his nose in and becoming a part of the culture and like the community. And he just never had any interest in doing it. The guy sucks all the way through. Like, just the worst level of suck.
Yeah. Instead, I gave him a fist bump at the David Njoku celebrity softball game last year, and all of a sudden my hand felt slippery. So I don't know what. It was weird. It was just weird.
Honey, I don't think I could sleep in bed tonight.
Ooh. Okay.
Gross.
Is my skin falling off?
Why are they so soft?
Oh, that's gross. Anyways, guys, other headlines. Because again, we're in silly headline season. I'm going to go to the Cavs for a minute. We got people that want to blow up the Cavs.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got people that want to take a 64-win team that, they lost in the second round, and that sucks. But every day I wake up talking about, I love Bill Simmons is the worst offender here. Every day he makes a trade proposal that doesn't work in the salary cap situation, but he just does it anyways. I feel like maybe that's, if we want to get like millions of people following this podcast, maybe we just have to say the dumbest stuff.
That's
Clickbait.
That's it.
Clickbait.
It works. That's
maybe
why it works.
Just have to say the dumbest stuff.
Like, for as stupid as we think these headlines are, because I wanted to make this point, like, I get why they have to do that. Like, who knows if this is how they actually truly feel, but I get why they have to do this.
Bill Simmons comes out and he goes, well, if it's me, I'm putting together Giannis from Milwaukee for Evan Mobley from Cleveland. Who says no? And the minute I read it, I went, well, the NBA is the first one that says no to that. Like, oh, that doesn't work. And he said it. He said Giannis for Evan Mobley straight up. Who says no? The league. Thank you for asking.
Yes, right.
Let's talk about it.
The 2.5 apron that they fucking, I don't know.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
I got people screaming to run Darius Garland out of town. I got people we have legitimately got people talking about running Evan Mobley out of town. Here's the thing. And Joe is in the comments. And Chad, you just mentioned it. The Cavaliers are in very much kind of a locked-in situation.
Yeah.
The second apron of the salary, again, we're going back to salary cap. The second apron of the salary cap says this. They can't make a trade, they can't make a deal unless the salaries match within a very specific percentage. And as a second apron team, the Cavaliers cannot take back any more salary than they send out. Not even $1. Not $1. So if you're sitting there going, they need to trade Isaac Okoro for X player, and that player makes $1 more on their salary than Isaac Okoro does, nope, can't do it.
Well, even if you blow it up, even if you're able to blow it up, what the hell would you rather have? You would rather start over than possibly win another 50, 60 games and go into the playoffs next year? That's crazy town. That is crazy town.
You might as well with this team.
Yeah, you might as well ride this out for all it's worth. I mean, unless the only way possible that I'm even thinking about making any sort of large move this offseason is if somehow, some way, and I know you just talked about it, can't do it, you add like a top 10 player to pair with like Mobley and Mitchell. That's the only way that I'm willing to make any sort of move on this Cavalier team. Otherwise, you're going to have to run it back. You're going to have to run it back.
The only way you do that is to move Mobley.
Right. Right.
You can't do it.
They're so young, though.
They're so little.
I mean, all right, Jared Allen, 27. Donovan Mitchell, 28. I guess those guys are on like the older side. Darius Garland, 25. Evan Mobley, 23. Like,
but guys,
why would you break that up?
There's still progress. Like, Joe said in the comments, you guys just want to run it back. And then he said, we got to make a change, even if it's adding to the bench. Listen, here's the deal, man.
You can do that.
Here's the thing that I think people are saying that I disagree with most. You made progress this year. In the end, did you play more games in the playoffs than you did last year? No, you played the exact same. You got to the exact same spot in the playoffs as you did last year. But to act like the year before, you could see it like, okay, you made it into the first round and you lost to the Knicks, but you finally got into the playoffs. And then last year it was cool. You won a first round series and then you lost to the Celtics, but okay, you made progress. This year, that progress necessarily wasn't there, but to act like you just ran it back with the same core group of guys for sure. But you ran it back with an entirely new coaching staff and coaching philosophy and style of play and all of that. So to act like that needed to just click year one, again, you've seen it elsewhere in the playoffs. It's not what happens. You're not just seeing things click year one under a new coach. You're not just seeing things click year one. That's just not how it typically goes.
Right.
So like the fact that they were able to switch their entire coaching staff around and then still get to where they got last year should have people thinking, okay, year two under Kenny Atkinson. Now he's learned a little bit, because that's what I talked about when we recapped the season was I think he's the guy that really needs to learn the most from the situation. He's learned a little bit. The players have grown again because, like you said, Joe, they're still very young. There's no reason to think they're going to be any worse next year. If anything, there's plenty of reasons to think they're going to be better.
Yeah, I'm just going to want to sim the season next year. Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what, like if they get a big win at Oklahoma City, big win at Boston, it does not matter. Yes, you can notice jumps in their games, I guess, but it's all going to come down to their mentality in the playoffs. And we're just not going to have that answer until next postseason.
Oh,
so it's going to be a grueling in some ways. I'm not saying you can't enjoy the regular season, but in some ways it's going to be a grueling regular season next year.
I just think here's the whole point of this first segment of the show, because again, it goes back to just outrageous headlines over and over and over again. Is if you're a fan and you love the Browns, if you're a fan and you love the Cavs or the Guardians or the Blue Jackets or the Buckeyes or whoever your team is, man, I think we need to all just come to terms with the fact that most of the people are being paid to cover the team for clicks, are being paid to get as many views on stories as possible. And the idea of just trying to write smart articles and stuff is just like, it's just disappearing over and over and over and over again. I've got people that are supposed to be trusted Cavaliers voices that are just running with these nonsensical headline articles. We've got these Browns people running with nonsensical headline articles. As a matter of fact, the team that we cover that I don't see it happening with the most, but also there's also not a big reason for it to be happening, is the Blue Jackets. I don't see a lot of crazy headlines happening down there, even though that's probably the team that should have the craziest headlines. Right?
Yeah, because that's a team that's going to make a lot of big moves this offseason.
Yes, they've got the most cap space in the NHL.
Yeah.
They're coming off a season where they, on the last day of the season, missed the playoffs.
Right. Right.
That's where all the crazy headlines should be coming from. And I don't see any of those, but just there's no reason to get worked up about a Shedeur Sanders article that happens in May. There's no reason to get worked up about a Jared Allen article that happens in May. We got people just trying to invent things for you to talk about and for you to get worked up about and for you to click on and hit subscribe on. And I don't know, here on Garage Beers, we like to have a lot of fun and talk about crazy shit, but we're not going to get into that.
We kind of like to be realistic on the show.
Yeah.
We like to be realistic. But
I like to call the theme of our show is dumb realism.
Yeah. But people are going to continue to get hooked because people are going to continue to give this football team the leeway that it doesn't deserve. Just because this is a football town. This is always going to be a football town. It's don't get hooked into anything in this time of year. Nothing. When it comes to training camp and it's like, oh, Shedeur really actually might be a surprise cut, then you maybe give that some credence, some merit. But right now,
if you think for 1 second that Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski are sitting in that office right now going, shit, do we think we're going to cut Shedeur Sanders?
Did you see that 6-yard out Dylan made to Luke Floria today in OTAs?
We've got to make this call right now. Somebody
he's out.
This.
Yeah,
somebody leak this to the press.
Trade Kenny. Get Caroline on the phone. See if he wants to back up Bryce.
Somebody leak it to the press. We did have this could be headliney, although Chris just wants to know our opinion on this, so I'm not calling you out. But
is this the star question that you're coming to?
I'm not going to come back. We're not going to spend really any more time on the Browns because I just fucking can't right now. But Chris did ask this. Chris said he's rooting for Judkins so much, Quinshawn Judkins with a D. But if Travion Henderson turns out to be better, does AB get problems?
No, Chris, he won't be. Did you see that clip where Judkins was sidestepping through pads with his vision and then dipping his shoulders and keeping his pad level low underneath the bars? He's the next mix of like Nick Chubb and Kevin Mack, okay? Just so you know. Okay, just so you know, that's where we're going with this.
Oh, I can't wait for that headline to come out tomorrow.
Just one clip, just by one clip, just seeing him duck under that bar, keeping his pad level low, and low man wins in football. And Nick Chubb always won because he was the low man.
Oh, you're going to see that on Cleveland net.
Yes, correct.
Is Quinshawn Judkins the next Kevin Mack, Nick Chubb combo running back? Talk about it. Click here, subscribe. No, Chris.
You can't live in hindsight, Chris.
And it's at that position.
Right.
in the second round. No, I don't. You don't live and die on second round running backs. You just don't. It just doesn't happen. If they go into next year for the Cleveland Browns, knowing that they need a first round quarterback, and maybe they trade up to get one, because I don't think the Browns are going to be anywhere near as bad as people think they will this year. I'm not saying I think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to be like an average football team. They got plenty of talent to just be an average football team. If they've got like a teens pick, they have 2 first rounders next year. If they trade up, let's say they trade up to like number 3 to get a quarterback, and it's the wrong one, that's where AB gets in trouble. That's where you run into problems.
Right.
But like, if Travion Henderson winds up being better than Quinshon Judkins or vice versa, I don't think anybody's getting fired over that. I don't think and that's not going to fire anybody.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of it too. I like Travion Henderson more because I thought he was the more complete back. But when you step back a little bit and look at it, Judkins is the much better fit for this Browns offense. Kind of that one cut and go back, just kind of like Nick Chubb. It's all coming together, guys. Now that we saw that clip in OTAs, it's coming together. He's the next Chubb.
You heard it here first, and you're going to see it all over. Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb probably even says it.
Garage Beer said it. Garage Beer said it first.
All right, boys. I want to take a few minutes and do a Guardians baseball mid-season, or not mid-season, but like third of the way through the season. We'll call it like a hockey period. We're going to call it the first intermission of the Guardians season.
Ooh. Okay.
As the Cleveland Guardians, they lost again tonight to the Dodgers. We can talk about that in a minute. I don't. This series means nothing to me. But they lose again, which means sitting here at this point in the season, I think they've played 50. How many games have they played? 54 games. 29 and 25 are the Guardians. They currently sit third place in the Central Division, 6 games back of the Tigers, 1 game back of the Twins for second place. But also, if you look at the wild card standings, they are the second wild card team in the wild card standings. Again, the AL Central is not the laughing stock that it was just a few short years ago, as they got 3 teams into the playoffs last year. And if the season ended today, there'd be 3 AL Central teams right back in the playoffs. But guys, let's catch up on this Cleveland Guardians team a little bit, because to me, and this is what I said in my series recap that I did for this Tiger series this last weekend. The thing that I am impressed with the Cleveland Guardians, it's the thing that like makes you want to like jump off a bridge as a Browns fan. If you're a Browns fan, this team just cannot create any kind of winning identity or winning culture, right? They just can't do it. No matter what the Browns do, they are a piece of shit. That is what they are. You can shine it up and polish it and spray it with poopery, but the Browns are a piece of shit. The Guardians have just established this culture that they, even when they're not having the best season, even when they're not the best team, even when they don't have a big payroll, even when some of their best players are hurt, even when some of their other best players aren't playing very well, just have kind of established themselves as this team that is just going to constantly bounce back, constantly be in the picture. Just when things look like they're going to get shitty, they don't get shitty. And like, take the last week, for example. Chad, you were there last weekend. The Cleveland Guardians got their asses handed to them by the Cincinnati Reds.
Yep.
Handed to them. It was the easiest sweep the Cincinnati Reds have had since Pete Rose. They just absolutely dominated the Guardians.
Yeah. And
then the Guardians come out and they split just that quick 2-gamer, which turned out to be a doubleheader against the Twins. And then they come out against the AL's best team, the Detroit Tigers. They go into Detroit and they take 3 of 4 from the Tigers. And frankly, they gave game. Although I'm not saying they would have won with Tarek Skubal on the mound, but they didn't play 3 of their best hitters in that game. They just have built this identity of like scrappiness, sticking around and figuring it out. And again, here they sit currently in a playoff spot in the American League. I know we're only in May, so there's plenty of season left. But boys, that to me is the most impressive thing about the Cleveland Guardians is the way they're playing so far this year really doesn't warrant them to be like a playoff consideration team, but they are because they just find a way to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to win the games that they should be winning. You see they find challenges against really good teams. I don't know if the Reds fit in like the really good team category, but they're not a bad team. They're going to get pretty rocked here by the Dodgers probably tomorrow as well. But I don't know. I mean, it's okay. Like, you have some things that are turning around at this point of the season too with the team. You have starting pitching coming around a little better than it was at the beginning of the season, particularly Gavin Williams, minus last night. But like in general, he's had a really good May. You have an offense that is just kind of like a standard Cleveland offense where it's streaky guys. I mean, you have Jose, you have Steven Kwan that are just phenomenal this year. But then you have guys that are like really good at times. Like Steven's been an awesome surprise, I think, this season. He's had some really good power, some really, really good offensive games. Gabriel Arias has been like awesome at times as well. I think he's on a little bit of a downer right now, but I think through most of May, he's had a phenomenal month. And you're just kind of looking for those other pieces to step up. I mean, we talked about the Guardians a couple weeks ago, and I'm kind of in the same boat where it's like, I feel like, not that David Fry is going to come back and like be the messiah of this team, but like you just get that one more like streaky bat in there that can get hot at the right time. Like it takes away some of the blows that you're getting with like a Nolan Jones or I know Angel Martinez has been pretty good, but like kind of like Angel Martinez and Carlos Santana hasn't been his best. So you get one more guy in there that can like throw in some good at bats. You're looking at a team that's going to start putting up pretty consistent 3 to 4 runs a game average. But I think that the biggest thing that's going to really be the thing to watch is this bullpen. I just don't feel like they have their identity right now. They feel a little lost out there. They're getting pretty rocked by the Dodgers, which is okay, but they'll have fantastic series. And they'll just have really, really bad series. Class A is turning around a little bit, which is good, but you just, you're not getting a consistent Cade Smith every night, although he's having a great season, but like, it's not like the Cade Smith we saw last year. Hunter Gaddis has been there for most of the season, but like, you got a little rocked.
But therein lies the problem, Joe, is that we're going to compare this bullpen to last year. And I said it going into this year.
No, you can't. Yeah, you're right.
Last year, the way this bullpen performed was generational.
Historically good. Like
right
one of
now,
the best of all time.
Right now, the Cleveland Guardians bullpen is good. It's good. It's a good-ass bullpen. I know I'm not throwing Jacob Junis or Paul Sewald in there. Don't worry, Chad.
Thank God.
Especially when you throw in the back 3 guys of Gaddis and Smith and Clase, and then you just throw in some like Tim Herron, man. That dude is fun to watch. Like when you throw in, there's like 5 guys in the bullpen that every time they're out there, I feel pretty damn good about the chances. The thing is, like, they're just pitching much more like what you can expect out of them if they're not at their absolute best, which is still one of the best in the league. And that's the only issue for the bullpen, is that we're always just going to compare them to last year. And you can't do it. You can't do it. If you got 5 innings out of your starter last year and they left and you had the lead, you're winning that game.
Right.
It's not normal. It's great. It's fun. It's just not normal.
Can David Fry play right field?
Yeah.
Can he? Oh, beautiful. Yes, please come.
Yep.
I'm ready to insert him now. Mike, I know you had a thing for Nolan Jones hitting the ball hard, but yeah, he sucks. He sucks. He's sucking a whole butt right now. And we need a replacement for that. They have to be able to figure it out, whether it's him, whether it's Chase DeLauder. I'm sure he's going to be here at some point. Not that because I think he's ready, but it's because they have to figure out something at that position out there, because they've been getting nothing from Nolan Jones. They've been getting nothing from Big Christmas. They've been getting nothing from that position at all. Angel Martinez had a good start to the year, But he's, he was going to regress. He's fallen off, a bunch here as of late. Made a pretty critical error there in the game tonight. But yeah, he's fallen off. So I mean, you still have outfield issues if you're this Guardians team. Jose, 20-game hit streak, career high. The guy just keeps adding accolades to him, and I made a video about him earlier, and I just like a few weeks ago, he deserves a statue now. Like he's already gone down in my eyes as one of the top Guardians / Indians of all time.
Easily,
just his story alone. So he continues just to be awesome. Stephen Kwan, he's great. He's the model of him, and Jose have been the model of consistency for this team over the past couple of years. You just have to figure it out. Like this, Joey, I completely agree with you. You say they don't seem to really have an identity this year, right? Because you just have no idea what you're getting from series to series. I mean, Mike, you alluded to it earlier. They lose to a very mediocre Reds team. They get swept by a very mediocre Reds team. By the way, I miss you, Will Benson. Turns out I miss you, Will Benson.
No, I don't. I don't. I'm not going to miss Will Benson once a week.
Turns out that we should have kept Will Benson, but that's how.
I'm not going to miss Will Benson because he has one good series a year.
Obviously, we can't live in hindsight. He's having a great season this year. But like I said, they'll get swept by a mediocre team in the Reds and then win 3 or 4 against the best team in the AL. So it's just you have no idea what you're getting from series to series with this team. So that's kind of unsettling, but they keep hanging in there. And if they can do that, which is what they've been doing the last few years, they're going to be right back in the postseason.
I think you've got to. So we're at the phase now with the Guardians where you have to decide where you're going to start cutting the cord on some of these guys. Nolan Jones. I've tried to stick it out with him. But like, man, if you can't pull yourself up from hitting 160, there's not a lot we can do for you, man. There's not a lot we can do.
Well, he's at 175, so
Big Christmas, man. A Big Christmas has been worse than Nolan Jones.
Yeah.
Every time Big Christmas is in the game, it's just a hole in the lineup. And he's not. Does he have 1 homer on the season? I think.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
1 homer. Big Christmas, man. If you're not going to produce, you can't be here. We can't. You can't be Bobby Bradley.
Yeah.
This would be a good question for our next baseball guest. Is like, at what point you're platooning those 2 guys? Do either of them see any amount of success if they're everyday players? Like, at what point do you make that change? Or like just go a different direction? Because like you're trotting out 2 really bad options right now.
I feel like they're desperately trying to get Nolan Jones to because he's getting more time.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Nope. He's giving you nothing. And that's, Chad, you talked about David Fry. Listen, I would love to see this little 3-wheel thing that happens between Carlos Santana, who is only going to be a first baseman or a DH, so don't take this the wrong way. He's not going to go out and play right field.
Right.
But Carlos Santana and Kyle Manzardo and David Fry when he gets back. And those 3 guys just kind of rotate through playing, like Manzardo rotates through playing a DH and right field, and Fry rotates through playing DH and right field. But Manzardo can also play first base, and Santana can DH sometimes. And you just kind of let those 3 guys take that side of the field because it's got it. David Fry coming back has got to give you more than what you're getting out of these 2 schmucks.
For the love of God, please.
You saw Pat Shea in the comments right now just brought up Layden Thomas. This guy might be the first one that gets the bait cut.
Right.
Because the only reason he's still here.
Oh, God.
Layden Thomas had a good playoffs last year, but he was under contract for this year. And it's like, okay, well, you're going to bring him back and hopefully he can give you something. He's giving you nothing.
Nothing.
I mean, Layden's giving you nothing. You talked about Angel Martinez. I would rather watch Angel Martinez out there all day than Layden Thomas at this point.
Yeah.
Just make Angel Martinez your center fielder and see what happens. But some of the holes that we thought going in. Now, the one we called going into the season was you got to get something out of Jones and John Kenzie Noel, and they've given you nothing.
Right.
But in fairness to the Guardians, they're getting some really good production out of places that we thought were going to be holes. The middle infield.
Right.
The catcher. Bo Naylor's been great.
Yeah. Now, I will say he's not hitting. His average is not great. But, like,
It's
he's getting some.
average, though.
He's getting
impactful.
some. Yeah, I know. Let me finish my fucking thought here.
Yeah.
He's getting some very timely hits. Very timely hits. He's getting some great RBIs. Like, he's been, I think, we haven't seen a catcher that's hit above 150 in a long time. And we're at 188 with Bo, and that's okay.
Yeah, but that's the difference. The difference between Bo and
that sucks so much.
The difference between Bo and Nolan Jones. Nolan Jones very rarely ever has an impactful hit.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It feels like every time Bo gets a hit, it's some kind of impactful hit.
He's got that Naylor clutch factor, man.
There's something about it.
Something about the Nailers.
The two boys up the middle. I mean, the best surprise of this whole season has been Gabriel Arias.
Right. For sure.
I trust him out there. Go on, man. He's not going to be the best. He's not going to be an all-star, but I trust him at the plate to come up with one or two hits every game. I trust him in the field. I love his arm, man.
Yeah.
Oh, what a rocket arm. Schneemann.
Couldn't have asked for anything
those
better.
Guys your shortstop. I never need to see Brian Rocchio ever again.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. He's gone.
So you're getting production out of some guys. And then in the starting, so then you look at the starting rotation, right? And they took the hit this past week with the injury.
Poor Ben Lively.
Yeah, Ben Lively. He's out.
So sad.
You're probably never going to see Ben Lively pitch for the Guardians again. But don't take what you're seeing out of this Dodgers series for anything, because the it's so unfair.
The Dodgers are unreal. They have 3 MVPs on the team. They're the best offensive team in baseball, hands down.
That's what you get when you have an $11 billion payroll.
Yeah,
that's what you see when you have that. It's like there's some series that the Guardians are going to be in. Then there's some series where it feels like you've lost it before you even started it.
You know, the funny thing is, though, I feel like we saw it. We saw the Guardians win the series against the Yankees. I think there's every team in the Major League Baseball the Guardians can compete in a series with, just not the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Literally the NL All-Star team could just be the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's what happens when you just say, hey, we'll just spend way more money than anybody else.
Shohei Ohtani has a worse batting average than 2 through 7 in that lineup. It's weird.
I know.
It's so weird.
How awesome is Shohei Ohtani, by the way?
He's amazing.
He's so fun to watch.
How about, he totally set the tone for this entire series, didn't he? He stepped up yesterday and just cranked just a home run.
That was so fucking loud.
He's one of those players that it's like LeBron. You're just I'm just lucky to be alive, in the same era as Shohei Ohtani. I enjoy it. I'm so happy when he goes up to bat, not against us, but he's so fun to watch. Him, I love Freddie Freeman. Good guy, Freddie Freeman, incredible baseball player. And then they got they pick up Teoscar Hernandez from the Mariners 2 years ago, and this guy just can't stop hitting home runs.
Yeah,
that's what he did in Toronto,
right?
Or in Seattle, both.
Well, he struck out a lot in Seattle. He's not doing that as much anymore. He's just really good now.
That's what they do. That's what they do. Max Muncy, that's what they do. You almost forget that Mookie Betts is just out there,
right?
Yeah,
just out there.
An
MVP caliber player Mookie Betts is just out there.
That's it.
Being Mookie Betts
playing right field. There he is.
So listen, we know David Fry is coming back hopefully soon. It sounds like we're getting real close.
He's batting.
Listen, if Chase DeLauder stays healthy, there's no reason to not get him up here, because when he's healthy, all he does is mash. And then they're gonna have to figure out.
Did you see who got it?
Yeah,
I was about to say. Did you see he's getting some starting gigs?
Good
down in Arizona.
Yeah, if he can get on the horse and get back, all of a sudden, I will say this. So when you look, I looked up all the advanced stats and everything for the Guardians, and they are middle of the pack to lower middle of the pack in every fucking category. Just every pitching, hitting. If you want to know where they're good, home runs per game, they are, I think, number 10. They're top 10, which is wild.
Let's go.
And they are the second best team in baseball at not leaving runners in scoring position.
Okay.
Now, I do think part of that is the fact that they don't get as many runners in scoring position.
Yeah, they don't hit a whole lot.
Not as many opportunities.
Yeah.
But when they do, I mean, it's been their calling card this year. When they get to like 2 strikes or 2 outs, they find a way to get the hit. And that's their identity. From the starting position, you hope Bybee can kind of get it back a little bit more to where he's a little more dominant than what he's been this year.
Get a little bit more consistency.
You hope Luis Ortiz can look a little bit more like the really promising pitcher from Pittsburgh. But like, oh, man, I've now seen a couple games of the guy that got back in that Josh Naylor deal, Slade Ciccone. And I'm like,
Hold on
a minute.
Remember,
Like,
you guys remember when I text you from the Red Series? I was like, this guy's got a live arm. Like this guy's got some smoke to him. Like that first inning in that Reds game when he just blew 3 fastballs, 3 98-mile-an-hour fastballs right by Ellie De La Cruz. I was like, holy shit, this guy's like, who is he? Like,
I mean, if this guy can do that, if you get Bieber back, I mean, all of a sudden you could be looking at this good pitching. Like the biggest
You got a rotation then.
The biggest difference between last year and this year is that if you look at last year's numbers from the pitching perspective, they were all top 10 in like so many categories. And now they're like 15 to 20 in all the categories in pitching.
yeah.
Well, and
And
they're
that
doing
level of drop off means that you're not on pace to win 90 whatever games this year. You're on pace to win like 86.
We're seeing, we talked about this like maybe 2 weeks into the season where it's like, they're winning games and they were losing a normal amount of games. I think we're losing a normal amount of games now. But the losses are just egregious. Like today, 9-5. Yesterday was at 7-2. Like we're getting shelled on the games that we're losing, but we're also winning a lot of games. So it's like, I think, the tough thing, we talked about this earlier, is just like the pin down with this rotation and pitching in general. It's just like the consistency is just like, it's so hard to just like figure out what you're going to get on a nightly basis. But like a lot of nights we're getting really good pitching. A lot of nights we're getting like really bad pitching. So
Yes.
If we could just level out on the former of those two, get Bieber back. Maybe that might level out Bybee a little bit. He's not the front man anymore. Like he can take a little back seat. He doesn't have maybe as much pressure on him. I don't know if that's the thing for him, but like maybe he could level some things out with this rotation and get a true ace in there.
And here's the last thing I'll say on the Guardians. I hope what I would love to say to their front office is this year, don't be afraid to be drastic. Don't be afraid to kick John Kenzie and Nolan Jones and Lane Thomas to the curb. Don't be afraid to go make that trade that gets you that other starting pitcher or get you that rental player in.
What are you talking about? You talking about the Guardians?
Yeah.
We talking about the same team?
Am I missing something, or have the Guardians always been great at making trade deadline deals? What am I missing? They do it every year. Every time the Guardians are in contention, they make trade deadline deals. Every time. They did it last year with Lane Thomas, and it didn't look good for the first month, and then he was awesome. But also, don't be timid or shy about, like, if Chase DeLauder is healthy at AAA and he's mashing the ball, get him up here.
Yeah, for sure.
Let him come up and help. Like, be drastic in some areas. Like last year, you didn't need to be. You made that Lane Thomas trade, and that was fine. That was good. That was good enough. This year, if you want to get over that hump and you want to like assure yourself at least a shot at the playoffs, you might need to be a little bit drastic this year. Don't be afraid to be a little bit drastic.
They never have been, though, so we'll see. They never have been. They always err on the side of caution when it comes to this, especially if they're in a year like this where it's like, okay, are we really contending? Are we like they're in this like kind of purgatory window right now? And every time they do that, they always err on the side of caution. So hopefully they get aggressive. I would love to see them get dressed. I would love to see them like team like the Guardians and the Pirates or whatever. Just try. Just take chance. Take a chance for once, and they just never do it. But I would love to see them do it.
The funny thing is, the reason it's easy for me to say be drastic is because I know they're going to be smart when they're drastic. So I'm not advocating for them to go out and make some boneheaded move because that's not their MO anyways. But like, again, for me, I'm thinking about like, if you need to cut bait with Nolan Jones, cut bait with Nolan Jones. That would be a pretty drastic move.
Yeah.
If Chase DeLauder is healthy, get his ass up here. That would be a pretty dramatic move for them. Like those kind of, we're not talking about drastic as in like try to trade for Mike Trout. That's not what I'm talking about here.
No.
I mean, I might make the call. Be like, hey, we got this dude. We got this dude here named Jacob Junis. You want him for Mike Trout?
Paul Sewald did really good for the Diamondbacks. Sucked for us, but really good for the Diamondbacks.
And hey, Phoenix is way closer to LA than Cleveland is. So
not that bad of a trip. Yeah.
All right. Let's do everything for the rest of the show very quickly. We haven't done our asshole of the week, so let's do our asshole of the week. Chad, you did.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yours is done. Asshole of the week out of the way for Chad. Chad had an early asshole exit of asshole of the week.
Ooh.
I will do my asshole of the week next, and mine is if you ever go to like, I guess anywhere, but it's evident somewhere where you have to stand in line. For example, yesterday I was at Cedar Point. Great time. Had a blast.
Nice.
I thought it was going to be crowded, by the way. It was not at all. It was awesome. Or you go to any amusement park, Disney World, whatever. Wherever you got to stand in line. My asshole of the week are the people, the guy that has to stand so freaking close to you when they're behind you in line that they're like stepping on you. Back the fuck up. We are in a single file line, my dude, and we're in a queue. I am waiting with my kids to go on like the classic cars at Cedar Point. Not even something to get all that excited about. Yeah. And the queue lines are about as wide as I am. And we're not going anywhere, my man. We will get there when we get there. And this dude stepped on my shoes 3 times in the span of like 5 minutes, to the point where I turned around and I'm like, if you want to go in front of me, you can. Like if you got to be this close to me in this line, you're welcome to step in front of me because I do not want to get stepped on by you again. If you're in line for a roller coaster and it's a single file line, give me a foot, give me a couple feet. I don't want to feel your breath. I don't need to feel your shoes on my shoes.
Right.
I don't need to feel your knees banging into the back of my legs. Give it a little space. Relax. We're all getting to the same place. That's my asshole of the week.
I love it.
Like it. Love it. That's a good one.
Joe.
Mine's Mike adjacent here. But give me the Carolina Hurricanes for just absolutely ruining my week here. So
they
we had
sold on you.
A friendly wager last week on the show where I think it was pretty rightfully so, was saying the Panthers were going to sweep this series. Like they're playing on a different level than the Canes are. And for the first 3 games, damn it, they were. Now game 4 was like, it was 3-0, but like, or was it 3-1?
It was 3-0.
It was 3-0. Yeah.
It was 2-0 the whole game. I mean, there was an empty net goal at the end. But the wager was that if the Panthers swept, I would get a shipment of Treehouse beers from Mike. And we were so close. You were sweating bullets. You were sweating on that because the Panthers were looking pretty unstoppable there. They're still going to win in 5. I don't think we could, like, maybe the Canes put one more out, but, like, this is not going to 7.
You're right.
But man, I really wanted that bad. That would have been cool.
You were
So-
super close, but your consolation prize is I'll send you a picture of a treehouse beer.
Love it. Thanks.
Oh, good. Yay.
Oh,
Yay.
wait, here.
Yeah, that was close, though.
Take a picture.
I
Oh,
was
cool.
waiting.
Nice.
I-
Love it.
I was just waiting for Florida to tie that game up and just I was looking
I
to wake up
know.
next morning and be like, Mike, how much you paying to ship them?
Nope.
That would have been expensive.
$0
illegal.
and 0 cents, baby.
Yeah.
Fun
all right.
fact: you can't ship alcohol through like carrier services. Did you know
Yeah.
that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You had to figure out a way.
There's ways. It's glass
Drive it out
bottles.
to them.
You can. And there's plenty of easy ways to do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
you just tell them it's something else.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I like Sean's comment here. Mike, you should send Joe an empty can. Nah,
Ooh.
that's still too much.
That's yeah, damn.
I'm not sending him jack shit for losing a bet.
Empty can of backwash.
That's fair. That's
Yeah.
fair. Ew.
Gross.
Here's the nothing you get for losing a bet.
Yeah.
Talking awful confident about a team that's going to lose in 5. All right. I want to do very quick hitters here before we get out of here. We're talking about the playoffs right now, so let's start with the NHL playoffs. Edmonton is 15 minutes away from taking a 3-1 series lead against Dallas boys in the Stanley Cup. Speaking of things I did not, we'll see. Dallas, very capable of scoring 3 goals in like 4 minutes. So
Right.
We'll see what happens, especially if Dallas got a little healthier today. But if this game winds up in an Edmonton win, talk about things I did not see coming. Edmonton's playing great freaking hockey right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Playing better defense, but the biggest difference, and I talked about this in our little preview here, the biggest difference is the secondary scoring that they're getting.
Yes.
Right. Draisaitl and McDavid have still been Draisaitl and McDavid. But I actually looked it up. 19 goals at this point in the playoffs. And we're a little over halfway through them. 19 goals from somebody other than somebody not named Draisaitl and McDavid. When in all the playoffs last year, they had 12. So they've already outscored their secondary scoring playoff number from last year. So, and Stuart Skinner woke up. I mean, against an offense like Dallas, you are a brick wall right now. And then and Dallas with all that firepower just can't find the back of the net. Edmonton is firing on all cylinders right now. And if it ends up being the Oilers and Panthers, that's going to be an incredibly tough decision for me to pick.
Yeah, that's gonna be a great series. I mean, if that happens, I did not expect Edmonton to go 3-1. I think Dallas is still gonna push this series, though. I just don't see them rolling over. They're too good and too deep of a team to get knocked out so quickly in a playoff series. I think Edmonton, they got a pretty straightforward path to the cup. I think here, same with Florida. And if that's the series we get, I think that's going to be, again, just an incredible rematch. Good little rivalry going here in the NHL. And that was some of the most fun hockey of the playoffs last year was that series. So would be very excited if that happens again.
Well, listen, again, we got a little under 13 minutes to go in the third period here. Edmonton's up 2-1. A lot of time left, but it does feel like it really feels like these next 12 minutes and 44 seconds decide what happens in the series, right?
For sure. For sure. Because Dallas is not going to beat Edmonton
and win this game.
No way.
And then they bring it back to Dallas. They retake home ice advantage.
Yeah.
Certainly a big boost to them. But if Edmonton could go up 3-1 in this series, feels like they are basically punching their ticket to the Stanley Cup playoffs. So what a series it has been. I mean, the games have all been really fun. Even though they haven't all been close, they've all been fun. As you're just seeing great hockey. The other series, it's domination.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it is. And I know we joked about it because of the bet we made last week, but like If you're a if you're a Hurricanes fan, you're basically just happy that your team showed a little fight in Game 4 and didn't get swept out of the Eastern Conference Finals. But like,
it's coming.
yeah, Florida is they've become the team. Their in-state rival was this team for the longest time, the Tampa Bay Lightning. They've become the team that it is what it is until you get to the playoffs. And then when the playoffs roll around, if Florida Panthers are healthy and they flip that switch to the next level, we saw it in Cleveland. This is what the Cavs were under with LeBron James. Remember, a lot of years that the Cavaliers went to the NBA Finals, they weren't the one seed in the East. They would like putz around. They would rest guys. They would win like 52 games, whatever. And then all of a sudden playoff time rolled around and nobody stood a chance. It feels very much like that's what the Florida Panthers, they won the Stanley Cup last year. It feels like that's the team they have turned themselves into because I don't care what team comes out of the West. I certainly hope Edmonton can win a cup for Canada, but is anybody picking anybody to beat the Florida Panthers at this point?
You know what? That's why I said it'll be tough because this iteration of this Edmonton Oilers team can beat the Panthers.
Would you put money on Edmonton to beat Florida?
Oh, man.
I wouldn't.
No. I wouldn't. But the thing that I go back to is just Florida has played so much hockey over these last few years. And Edmonton, with the way Edmonton is playing right now, are they that team that's going to be able to knock off Florida because they're playing the exact same style as Florida has been playing? This Edmonton team has turned into a team just like Florida that can beat you in any way, any style that you can play. With Edmonton's additions and with the way Stuart Skinner's playing now, it's Stuart Skinner is playing like Bob. It just feels like nothing is going to get past him, right? If you want to play the physical game, you can play the physical game. Joe's favorite player, Corey Perry, is just going to beat the shit out of everybody, right? If you want to play this up and down game, there's nobody better in the NHL to play the up and down game than Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Nobody better because of their speed. It's a matchup of two teams that can play any style, and it's going to be a tough pick. Now, I would probably pick the Panthers in 7, just because until somebody knocks them off, they're the defending Stanley Cup champions, so why wouldn't I pick them? But man, it'll be so tough to pick that series.
It's gonna be so fun. I cannot wait for it.
Well, the way things are going right now, it looks like by the time we do episode 266 next week, we're gonna be talking about the Stanley Cup Finals. On the other side of things in the playoffs, we did get a question before. So we've got the 2 playoff series in the NBA. We've got the Indiana Pacers, who let's see if that game. I had that game on before. The Pacers were pulling away from the Knicks in the last couple minutes. Let's see if the Knicks mounted a comeback or if the Pacers are going to go up 3-1 in this series. Hold on. Wait for it. All right, so we don't know yet. 6:31 to go in the game. Indiana up 113-101. New York shooting free throws. So it's about to be a 10-point game or a 11-point game or something like that. But we had this question in the comments before. So I think it's an interesting question, boys. Oh, not this one. Hold on. Joe asked, would you rather have the Knicks or the Pacers win the series? And that is less about the Knicks and Pacers series and more about how do you traditionally root for things? Like, I'm going to give you my example. I would much rather have the Pacers win the series. Why? Because they beat the Cavs. I would rather have the Pacers win the series, and then I would rather have the Pacers win the NBA Finals because at least that way, just like last year with the Cavaliers, you lost to the NBA champion. I'd rather lose to the champion. There's only a few exceptions to this, right? Like if the Guardians last year would have lost that game in Game 5 to the Detroit Tigers in the playoffs, I want the Tigers to lose because I'm never going to root for the Tigers. I'm never going to root for, like, if the Browns made the playoffs one year and played the Ravens and lost, I'm not going to root for the Ravens. I'm not rooting for, like, rivals.
Right.
But, like, and I guess the Pacers kind of are a Cavs rival, but it doesn't really feel like that. They're that much of a rival. I would rather have my team lose to the eventual champion. So I'd rather see the Pacers win than the Knicks. How do you guys feel about it?
I don't care.
Yeah, it's over.
Like, I mean, I get what you're saying, and like that's that's kind of how I look at it as well when it comes to like football, when it comes to baseball, when it comes to. But I just if anything that's outside the Cavs in the NBA, it does not matter to me. Now, when I don't, but typically I'll say this, but typically when I don't have a dog in the fight, I typically root for the team that has not won the championship in the longest period of time. And so like, by that logic, I guess I'm rooting for the Thunder. I would root for the Thunder to win the championship because they've never won one in their existence, So there we are. And I don't think. Wait, have the Pacers won one? I don't think they have.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, I don't think they have won one. So maybe it would be the Pacers too. The Pacers and Thunder is who I would be rooting for in this.
I mean, the Timberwolves, the Thunder, the Pacers are all teams.
Yeah.
In
all
that
right.
boat.
Anybody but the Knicks.
And on the other side, it's going to be the Thunder. The Thunder have a 3-1 lead. Listen, if the Thunder don't win the championship this year, like the way I said it about the Florida Panthers in our NHL talk, like I wouldn't bet against
Sure.
Panthers against anybody coming out of the West. You certainly are not going to bet against the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are, if the Pacers come out, and the Pacers just feel like team of destiny, by the way, this run that they are on in the playoffs should be something that is studied for years to come in the sports conversation world. But like, they're going to hit the Oklahoma City Thunder, and it's going to be a whole different ball game.
Right.
Whole different ball game. There is no reason to think that Oklahoma City isn't going to be raising the championship at the end of the season. So, yeah, it's going to be Thunder. It's probably going to be Pacers. Good for Indiana. But I don't think they're going to be able to bully ball the Thunder out of the playoffs. And if they are, it would be wild. It'd be wild. All right, listen, it's already 10:30. So I'm going to make the executive decision to just call it, and we'll go to our cheers of the week. But I do want to talk some rule changes next year, so we'll just push that off, or next week, I mean. So we'll push that off to next week.
It's like planning ahead.
Why don't we do our cheers of the week, and we will get out of here for episode 265. And I'll lead us off. I try not to do too many like overly personal, like family things on the cheers of the week, just because. But I'm going to do one because the last 2 weeks of May are big weeks for me and my family. So May 15th, my daughter Lucy had her 4th birthday. Yesterday, May 26th, my son Patrick had his 8th birthday.
Nice.
And this upcoming Friday, my wife Katie and I have our 11th wedding anniversary. So the last 2 weeks of May are just big special weeks
There we go.
for us in the Keefe house. So I'm saluting Patrick and I'm saluting Lucy for their big birthdays. And I am saluting Katie for sticking with me for 11 years. Boys, you guys have only had to endure me for 5+ years on this podcast. Katie's had to do it every day at home for 11 years. So imagine the strength and fortitude that it takes to do what that woman has done. Big shout out to my family. They get my cheers this week.
Yeah, I guess I'll be me. It's just, I guess my cheers goes to Florida just for being Florida. I guess a few guys ran over some manatees, like a sea cow, like a bunch of sea cows. And,
like on a boat or like
on a boat. They just fucking. It's not even like a cheer. It's obviously it's a sarcastic cheers. But Florida sucks. Florida's a state that's just weird all around. Like it's like the motto of the state should be just Florida, where all the weird shit happens. And then you have like it's a mixture of like weird people, trashy people, and then like Disney adults.
Yeah.
First of all, leave Disney out of it. Don't be a jerk.
That should be actually that might be my asshole next week is the Disney adults.
Yes. There we go.
Oh man. You're not like you go with your kids, you're not in that category. I'm talking about the ones that are like I don't know.
Like the ones that are rushing into theme parks with no kids in sight.
You saw that video.
Yeah.
They opened up a new theme park like last week or something.
I think adults that go and like push kids out of the way for kids things, terrible.
That's what
Like
this
the
was.
adults
That's what
push
this
kids out
was
of the way.
though.
What?
That's kind of what this was though.
Okay.
Like they definitely were like front of the line, like, and you
The
could tell like
adults that,
Disney had a
fight
bunch of
kids.
people. Disney had a bunch of people like in like this line to like greet all like the kids and stuff to this new park, and it was all just these like 30 to 35-year-old like
losers.
Disney adults that would like push kids aside to get like a picture with Goofy. That's weird behavior. Super weird.
That's what we're talking about here.
However, though, like just adults that go, I would absolutely, if Katie was like, I just want to go to Disney for like a long weekend, I'd be like, yes.
I agree. That's different.
Great trip.
That's different.
Great trip.
That's different. Anyone can vacation wherever they want to, but like
I get what you're saying. The ones that are like weirdly like they don't have their kids, but they're still weirdly dressed up, and like the parade is coming through, and they're like hip bumping kids out of the way. I get it.
Chill.
Yeah,
you can watch it. You can watch it.
This was supposed to be a cheer of the week.
Disney's just not my bag. That's all.
Well, you sound dumb.
I love the cheers. Fuck Florida. That's incredible.
Yeah. Cheers to fuck Florida.
Oh, by the way, it's been a while since we've done this, so I did Florida Man Chad. Florida Man Chad sentenced for killing endangered sawfish. I did Florida Man Joe. This is about a school employee arrested on child porn charges. So
for fuck's sake.
Oh, come on. Try Joey. Try Joey.
And then Florida Man Mike says barefoot camo wearing Florida man Mike Dragic wrangles a big alligator along I-95. So that's what Florida Man's all about.
It's kind of badass.
All right, Joe, you gave your asshole of the week. What's your cheer of the week?
Oh, man. I had a good friend from Nashville come visit over the weekend, and it was very nice for him to fly out here, just hang out in the new place in Seattle. We did a lot of exploring, went to Bainbridge Island, went to Ballard, went to Folk Life Festival, which is sweet. Just had a really good time here. So cheers to friends.
Cheers to friends. Cheers to friends. Including friends like you. That's going to do it for episode 265 of the Garage Beers podcast. Let's do our thank yous and get out of here. Our first thank you goes out to the OBR, the Orange and Brown Report. Get to the OBR.com. Make sure you hit subscribe, you hit like, do all that stuff on the socials and on the website. The best place for Browns coverage in all of Cleveland is the OBR. So make sure you are subscribed and tuned in there. Our next thank you goes out to all of you, everybody that joined us live here in the comments. I do want to say we're still working through. There was a major issue with the podcast host site that we had been using, and we're actually still trying to work our way through it. Once we get through it, and we're getting assistance from a lot of people, once we get through it, all of our episodes will be back up on the podcast site. In the meantime, though, if you do want to watch us, just go to the YouTube stream, go to the Twitch stream, watch us there, go to our Twitter page. You can watch the old shows there. And you can still just put them on and like plug it into your car. Don't watch, obviously. I'm not saying that, but like you can still listen. But we'll get the podcast version going soon. But if you joined us live here tonight, shout out to you. We love you guys. If you're listening or watching us later, shout out to you. We love you as well. That's going to do it for episode 265. For Joey out there I almost said Nashville. You're not there anymore.
Ew.
For Joey out there in sunny Seattle. For Chad over there on the east side of Cleveland. I am Michael Keefe. Go follow the show at The Garage Beers on all the socials, and we'll see you next week for episode 266. Until then, cheers, everybody.